Hi everybody, it's me Vic. Today I wanted to talk about Corsair's Xeneon Edge. Now, I can tell you, I bought one, right? I have one. It's a really handy tool. It is a touch screen, so like you can do whatever you need to. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start recording on my mobile phone, so that way as I'm starting to demo some stuff, you can see it real time with the phone when I put it in the video. Anyways, we're going to get started here. I'm really excited about this software because I have tinkered around enough to show you all what it's capable of, and then the fun stuff, which is virtual stream decks. But primarily, I have been using it for sensors because I have been really testing out like the capabilities of the 5090 and how far I can push it and what the temps are, and I'm really excited. That's why I really love using this. However, I do like using virtual stream decks from time to time, but right now I'm using my Stream Deck Plus. So we're gonna hop into the software now. So when you first unbox the Xeneon Edge, you get all of these cables that come with it. There's even like things to hook it into your PC. It's a really cool thing, right? You get a USB-C to USB-C connector, you get an HDMI cable, and I'm sure there's other stuff in there. I didn't do an unboxing video because I'm sure you've seen them all over the internet. But we're going to talk about the software and the capabilities of the touchscreen, which is really awesome. So first things first, my setup is only going to be one cable, which is the USB-C to USB-C. So I have it plugged into my motherboard's USB-C Type-C port, which is capable of doing graphics because I enabled the iGPU in my BIOS. Now, if you don't enable the iGPU in your BIOS, that's okay. You can still use the Type-C to power on the device and connect the HDMI to your onboard HDMI motherboard graphics. Or if you want, you can even hook it up to your GPU. I wouldn't recommend hooking it up to the GPU, and in my case I can't because I have the GPU actually going to a capture card to do a dual PC setup, which is with my Mac Mini. So, and then this thing actually works with the Mac Mini, which is pretty cool. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the screen setup, right? In the screen setup here, you can run the wizard if you want. I'm not going to do that because I don't need to. I've already configured it. It helps you enable the touch screen and all that stuff. So I've already done that piece. But you can do it. And you would just run this wizard right here and it'll take you to the next step and to the next step. But we're going to actually get into device personalization. So you can actually change your background, right? You can change it to any of these or something custom. I'm not doing anything custom. I'm using their stuff here. Might have added in a couple of customs though. So like one of my favorites is this one. I do like this one. So I guess we'll rock that one for right now. And then you can change the widget text color. I recommend leaving it on white unless you have a white background, then I would recommend putting it black or a color that stands out. And then your widget accent color. I personally love lavender or anything close to it, but it's so light that you can't really see the accent. So I went with purple, right? And then of course the widget background, I wanted something that was going to be opaque, like a nice gray transparent color, and that's where this widget background is going to remain the same. I have not changed it. And then there's the widgets. So widgets are a lot of fun, right? With the Xeneon Edge, what you can do here is you click on the plus sign and it says, what widgets would you like, right? So we're going to start with volume. Volume, I'm really not going to use this, and the primary reason is I use Wavelength 3.0's beta, and I use my Stream Deck and Stream Deck Plus and Stream Deck Virtual Stream Decks. I use the Stream Deck ecosystem to control my audio, so I wouldn't use this, but if you do, you can actually just use a touch screen and slide the dials and stuff, and that would work. You can change your input device, which is your microphone, and your output device, which is usually your speaker or headphones. I'm not going to do that. I don't need it. Now the next one is media. If I'm playing, whether I'm on Spotify or a browser, anything that's playing on your PC, like it's kind of like a foreground app, right? So anything that's playing, you can literally pause it when you tap this. So I could literally tap this and it'll start playing something, whatever might be running in the background, or I can pause it again by tapping the button. I won't be using this because again, I'm using the Stream Deck ecosystem to take care of that. Now there's also images and videos. I'm not going to do any videos on here, but I do have some images ready just to kind of show you, right? So I could come in here and I could select an image, and there you go. You'll see it right here on the screen. I am doing a recording from my phone too, so it's not going to be like the best. I didn't have time to set up my other camera, but yeah, you can see right there the flower. And we're gonna carry on, right? So the next widget is going to be the slideshow. Well, if I didn't want to just have it like a frame, well, there is a frame actually, but if I didn't want to do that, I could actually just come to my desktop and I could go to Xeneon Edge, select the folder, and then it'll start showing the slideshow of the 4 or 5 photos that I put in there, right? And it takes time, but it'll start to move, you know, as we kind of ignore the screen, which is pretty cool. So that's really cool. And then of course there's the frame. Now the frame is going to be where you can paste a code in there. I've never used this feature because I'm not a coder and I wouldn't even know what I want to put in the frame. So for those who do write and code, this might be something fun for you to do. And you can frame it, really. I think that's really cool. And then there's the YouTube video. So I actually copied one of the URLs from my own video because I wanted to make sure that this was going to work because I ran into a little hiccup earlier. And look at that. It's going to... Oh, you know what? I could do it in large and you'll be able to see that. Wait, I have to tap it on the actual screen. And it's showing you the Dragon Quest demo, right? So I could do it in extra large and it'll take up the whole itty bitty screen, as you all can see. And then you can see me in that video, which is pretty cool. And if I want to, I guess, pause the video, I could do that. There. And like you could literally swipe through the videos that are on YouTube, and that's pretty cool. I like that feature. I really do. Like if I'm wanting to watch something and be in the loop on it, and I did turn the volume down on it so that way it wasn't coming through the video, but you can do that with any video and it'll just kind of like pick up in your YouTube feed, which is pretty cool. And it's like a mini ultra wide, so for me it was right up my alley. I really enjoyed that. And then the next thing is going to be your Twitch chat. You can change the size on this as well. You can put the channel link in here. I'm not going to put my link in there, but you can put any channel link. It works the same way that the prompter from Elgato has their chat feature. You just put in the channel link, or technically the channel's name, but in this one, the channel link, and then you can see the chat. I recommend that the chat be in vertical. Personally, I won't be using the Xeneon Edge for that because I use the prompter for that, which it's great. It's great. I'm giving you full eye contact with the prompter. All right, the next widget is going to be a web URL. It can be any URL, right? So, I don't know. Let's go to this one because that's kind of what we're headed towards anyway. And let me go back to the Xeneon Edge and we'll paste that URL. Oh, did it not copy the full thing? Let me try this again. Hold on, y'all. There we go. All right, there we go. So SimHub, right? And we're getting there. I don't have a sim rig. Those things are so cool. I would love to do Forza 6 racing in it, but like I have no funds for it. Unless I get sponsored or, you know, partnered with somebody and like someone was generous, that would be the only way. But sim rigs are really cool, right? So like I've seen those flight sims, I've seen the racing sims, and SimHub is a pretty cool thing, right? So why don't we just kind of skip down to that real quick here. If you have a SimHub thing, you can actually use this to do that. And I thought that was really cool. I've seen people actually show their setups on it, and I wish I could demo it, but I can't. But SimHub is a really cool thing for those who do have the simulation rigs. Anyways, we're gonna carry on here to our next one, which is launching an application. And I already have virtual stream decks set up for game launchers and app launchers, but you can also do this with the Xeneon Edge. It's going to be that you probably want to put them on small when you do, and you can add a path, right? So we're going to select a file, and I am going to actually navigate to my games. I know I have a lot. And then I'm going to go to Steam, I'm going to go to Steam apps, we're going to go to Common, and we're going to scroll down to Dragon Quest VII because that's been fun to play. And there you go, right? So how this works, I just tap it. And the game, I'm gonna hit cancel, but it did pop open on another screen. Actually, you know what? If I do that, Can I show y'all what it does in Steam? Hold on. That's what it tells me. So we know that it's going to start. It says it's attempting to launch with an optional parameter. We could hit continue and start it, right? But I'm going to hit cancel. So you know it works. And I'm recording it because you saw me tap it on the touchscreen. It's very fluid. What I like about the touchscreen is the moment that you touch it, it's instant. So that's really kudos for touchscreens, right? With the Stream Deck, yes, I do have to push a button. I do have to navigate to it. But with this, you just kind of like swipe through things and it works. And for those who are looking at the little video, you'll see it. And then the next one is going to be the Windows notification. And I can just literally clear all on that and I have no more notifications, which is great. And then there's the sensor chart, right? So I actually have my sensors already set. Come on, cooperate. Here I am demoing it and it's like, no, we don't want to listen to your touch, but it's cool. So you can see all of my sensors there, which is really cool. And then we're going to go back to the third page, which is the blank canvas that I was showing everything on. You can even change your sensors to be dual, which is really cool. It comes in handy if like you're checking a whole bunch of different things and temps. For me, I realized what I have, just like 6 sensors is really all I need to track, but you could do more if you needed to. And then there's obviously the virtual keyboard, which I think is really cool. Like if you didn't want to use your keyboard for whatever reason, you could just literally tap revolution on the screen. And then of course the calendar, right? Because we need to know what day it is. So there's the calendar. And then obviously there's going to be time, right? Clocks. And then there's another clock face. And then the fun thing that I love to do is, am I going to get sponsored at some point? Oh, that's horrible. I was really hoping for something successful, but it said denied, like a BIOS flash. This is horrible. I feel like Corsair's flip coin just trolled me. And then you tap it again, right? So that way you can set it up for something else. Anyways, you could ask it silly questions and flip the coin and you're totally fine. And then the weather, right? It's important to know what the weather forecast is going to be. And you can change the size on this from small, medium, large, extra large if you really want to be on top of it, which I think is really excessive to be that far out, unless you're somebody like, you know, myself who wants to look maybe a week or 2 in advance. But I never trust the Weather Channel anyways, because they never really pinpoint it accurately here in Texas anyways. But that's the Xeneon Edge in a nutshell, and a lot of functions that you can do with just iCUE, right? So that's just iCUE. Now let's just say that you didn't want that, right? And you actually just wanted to use it in screen mode, which it says it's now functioning as a regular monitor. We're going to close out of here, and this is where the phone is going to actually shine. And I am going to open up my Stream Deck because I should probably go to like the virtual decks that I have set up. So I'm going to turn on the virtual deck, and if I wanted to, I can tap that and it'll take me to the web page of whatever it was. This is a plugin that no longer exists. I kept it. So yeah, this is no longer on the marketplace, but that's okay. The next one that I have is going to be my Spotify, right? Oh yeah, we should move that over here. And I like controlling the Spotify this way because and that actually is showing like in a section like the whole album cover in those little 4 squares there that you see right here, pointing on the camera there. And then let's see, I can turn that off, and then let me go back to the watcher and turn that off. I have my OBS set up on here too. I just have to drag it. Sometimes what happens is when you connect more than one monitor, it tends to go to like your other monitor, whether it's your main or your secondary monitor. But I have 2 touchscreen panels on my desk right now, and I'm only showing you one of them. But yeah, there's functions on here that you do with virtual Stream Deck, and really it's just your Stream Deck stuff. So this one is my OBS one, and then I have my Meld Studio, which I like to keep on this side so that way I can differentiate them. But yeah, they all went to my main monitor, so I have to like drag them as I do this. And it comes in very handy. All right, so that's kind of like my my main Stream Deck profile, like if I was actually keeping it open here, which I don't need it. But this is one of my favorite ones because I can just tell it what I want it to do and it'll actually open up that virtual deck. Oh, that took me to the wrong spot. Oh yeah, the games. So I have games here, right? And the cool thing is I can, oh, y'all can't see it, hold on. So I have the games here and I can just literally treat it like a game launcher. And you can see how responsive it is because it's very quick. So that is one thing I do love about the virtual Stream Decks is how quick the response is when you tap it on the screen. And that's going to be the other functionality. Now you could actually have dual functionality, right? I'm going to move this over here. And then I'm going to actually go back into iCUE and enable the widgets. Now let's go ahead and, oh, clicked on the wrong thing. Widgets. Turn this on. So you can see that it's still there, right? And then what we're going to do with, if I do this, right, it's only showing up on, oh, it looks like my virtual Stream Deck just turned off. So if I do that, right, it takes me to the weather, it shows me this on the sensors. It's supposed to carry over with the virtual Stream Deck, but I've been somewhat running into a little bit of an issue where it disappears, even though I don't want it to. But yeah, so essentially, if I didn't have, you know, let me toggle that off real quick. If I didn't have this section right here, so let's go ahead and delete this widget. And I turn on just the games, right? Let's do that. And I turn that off. I could do this. I could go here. It turns off after you swipe between them, but I'm still trying to figure out how to get it to show everything. Oh, it turned it off at this point. Yeah, there we go. And I could literally just keep it like that and keep my app launcher there and just use the Xeneon Edge that way. The only caveat that I run into is when I do that, sometimes it'll just stay on the screen like that, or it'll disappear, as you've seen. So it really comes down to how I want to set up the layout, if I want to use the widgets and the Stream Deck, the virtual Stream Deck. So you have to be mindful about how you configure that. And if you can get it to work to where the Stream Deck is either always on or it comes on when you're on that specific widget page, then you're as good as set. This was a lot of fun to do. I've had a lot of fun being creative with it, and this is my ultimate like ideal layout, is to have it like this. But every now and then I run into a couple of blips, and as soon as I can get that to be set the way that I want, like what I would love, actually now that we're talking about it, right? The game widget disappeared, but it's technically still supposed to be on. What I would love is to have a widget where it says virtual Stream Deck right here, so that way if I swipe or whatever, I have what I want right there every single time. Like that's the only other thing I can think of that would be feedback for Corsair and for Elgato to make that work, because they're Corsair is a parent company to Elgato. But other than that, I'd have to say that this is a very solid product, and I've been very happy using it for, I want to say it's been a month now. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope you enjoy the video. Bye!